The morning alarm shrieked through Barracks Delta 7 as cadets scrambled from their bunks, but Cadet Rain was already dressed, standing at perfect attention beside her. Sergeant Knox strode between the rows of recruits, his cybernetic eye scanning each cadet's readiness scores on his tactical display. "Listen up, maggots. Today we're testing your mettle in the gravity chambers, triple Earth gravity, full combat scenarios." The other cadets exchanged nervous glances, sweat already beading on their foreheads at the thought of the crushing weight. Rain remained motionless, her dark eyes fixed straight ahead, breathing steady and controlled. "Problem, Cadet Rain," Knox barked, noticing her unusual calm. "You look like you're attending a funeral, not combat training." "No problem, Sergeant," she replied in a voice barely above a whisper, so quiet the others strained to hear. Knox's scarred face twisted into a smirk. "We'll see about that when you're eating dirt under." The platoon marched toward the training complex, their nanofiber armor gleaming under the artificial sunlight of the station's dome. Cadet Martinez nudged his bunk. "Think the ghost girl will finally crack today. She's been here 3 months, and I've never heard her raise her voice," whispered Cadet Torres, "probably washing out by noon." Behind them, Rain walked in silence, her footsteps making no sound on the metal decking. The gravity chamber doors hissed open, revealing a sprawling urban battlefield complete with holographic civilians and destructible buildings. "Your mission is simple," announced the AI instructor, its voice echoing from hidden speakers. "Navigate the combat zone, neutralize hostiles, protect civilians. You have 30 minutes. Knox activated the gravity generators, and the chamber filled with the low hum of gravitational manipulation technology. One by one, the cadets entered the chamber, immediately stumbling as the crushing weight slammed down on their shoulders. Martinez collapsed to his knees within seconds, his nanofiber suit's exoskeleton straining to compensate. Torres managed 3 steps before falling face first into the artificial dirt. "Pathetic," Knox shouted over the comm system. "Is this the best the Academy can produce?" Rain stepped through the threshold, and the other cadets held their breath, waiting for her inevitable collapse. Her boots touched the chamber floor, and she continued walking at the same steady pace, as if the crushing gravity didn't exist. Knox's cybernetic eye word as it focused on her, running diagnostics that came back normal. No mechanical augmentations, no illegal gravity. She moved through the urban maze like a shadow, her movements fluid and precise, despite carrying triple her body weight. The holographic enemies materialized around her alien constructs, with glowing red eyes and plasma weapons, while the other cadets struggled to lift their training rifles. Rain dispatched 3 hostiles with surgical precision, each shot finding its mark. "How is she moving like that?" Torres gasped, still pinned to the ground by the crushing gravity. Knox checked his instruments again, certain there was a malfunction, but the readings were clear. She was operating under the same conditions as everyone else. Rain reached the civilian extraction point in record time, her breathing still steady and controlled. "Simulation complete," announced the outstanding performance. "Cadet Rain. All objectives achieved with 0 civilian casualties." The gravity shut off, and the other cadets gasped with relief as the weight lifted from their bodies. Knox stared at Rain as she calmly removed her helmet, not a single bead of sweat on her brow. "Freak," muttered Martinez, nursing his bruised ribs. "Probably has illegal augmentations," Torres added. "Nobody moves like that naturally." That evening in the mess hall, Rain sat alone at a corner table, methodically eating her meal while the other cadets gave her a wide berth. Knox pulled up her classified file on his personal tablet, but most of the information was redacted black bars, covering everything except her name and admission date. Curious about her mystery cadet, Colonel Vasquez appeared behind him, her augmented arms crossed over her chest. "Her performance today was unusual," Knox replied carefully. "I've never seen a recruit handle triple G like that. Some files are classified for good reasons. Sergeant, I suggest you focus on training the cadets you're allowed to know about." The warning was clear, but Knox couldn't shake the feeling that Rain was hiding something far more significant than enhanced reflexes. 3 days later, the platoon was conducting live-fire exercises in the biocontainment facility when the alarm started screaming. "Breach in Sector 7. All personnel evacuate immediately." The AI's voice carried a note of genuine panic. Through the reinforced windows, Knox saw something massive smashing through the laboratory levels below. "What the hell is that thing?" Martinez pressed his face against the glass, staring at the creature wreaking havoc in the containment area. The beast stood 4 meters tall, its genetically enhanced muscles rippling under armored chitin plates, eyes glowing with bioluminescent fury. Experiment designation Chimera 9, the AI reported. Gene-spliced hybrid of Earth predators and Catherian warbeasts. Estimated mass 400 kg. The creature's roar shook the entire facility as it tore through steel bulkheads like tissue paper. Evacuation protocols are failing, the AI announced. Containment systems offline. Lockdown in effect. Knox herded his cadets toward the emergency exits, but the blast doors had already sealed, trapping them in the observation deck. Below them, Chimera 9 detected their presence and began scaling the walls with terrifying agility. "We're dead," Torres whispered as the beast's claws scraped against the reinforced windows. The glass began to crack under the creature's assault, spiderweb fractures spreading across the surface. Knox reached for his sidearm, knowing it would be useless against something designed to survive military-grade weapons. The window exploded inward in a shower of crystalline fragments, and Chimera 9 hauled its massive bulk into the observation deck. The cadets screamed and scattered, but there was nowhere to run in the sealed chamber. The beast's head swiveled toward Martinez, who had fallen and couldn't get back to his feet. Its jaws opened, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth designed for tearing through armor and bone. Rain stepped between them. The creature paused, perhaps confused by this small human who showed no fear, made no attempt to flee. "Get back," Knox shouted, but Rain didn't move, didn't even flinch as the beast's hot breath washed over her. Chimera 9 lunged forward with the force of a freight train, its massive claws extended to crush this foolish human. Rain caught the creature's front legs in her bare hands. The sound of the impact echoed through the chamber like a gunshot, but instead of being pulverized, Rain held firm. Knox's mouth fell open as he watched the 400-kilogram monstrosity strain against the slight cadet, who barely reached its chest. Rain's muscles didn't bulge, didn't show any visible sign of effort. But the engineered killing machine couldn't budge her an inch. Impossible. Torres breathed, his voice barely audible over the creature's frustrated roars. With a fluid motion that seemed almost casual, Rain pivoted and hurled Chimera 9 across the chamber. The beast sailed through the air like it weighed nothing, crashing into the far wall with enough force to buckle the reinforced steel. It slumped to the floor, dazed but still alive, its bioluminescent eyes flickering with what might have been confusion or fear. Rain walked toward the stunned creature, her footsteps the only sound in the suddenly silent chamber. She knelt beside Chimera 9 and placed one hand on its armored head, her touch somehow calming the engineered rage that drove it. "Sleep," she whispered, and the beast's eyes dimmed as it fell into what looked like peaceful unconsciousness. The emergency blast doors finally cycled open, and security teams poured in with weapons drawn, only to find the crisis already resolved. Knox stared at Rain, his mind struggling to process what he'd witnessed. She stood and brushed dust from her uniform, her expression as calm and unreadable as always. "Cadet Rain," Knox's voice cracked slightly. "What? How did you? She met his gaze for the first time since he'd known her, and he saw something in those dark eyes that made his blood run cold. "Some of us are built for war, Sergeant," she said quietly. Colonel Vasquez appeared in the doorway, took one look at the unconscious Chimera 9, then at Rain, and nodded slowly. "Bag the creature for transport," she ordered the security team, and sealed this incident under Omega Black classification. As the teams worked to extract the beast, Vasquez approached Rain. "Your handlers are asking for a progress report," she said in a voice too low for the others to hear. "Tell them I'm still maintaining cover," Rain replied, her whisper carrying an authority that made Knox's skin crawl. The other cadets huddled together, whispering frantically about what they'd seen, but none dared approach Rain directly. Knox realized that everything he thought he knew about his quiet cadet was wrong. She wasn't hiding from attention, she was hiding something far more dangerous. As the emergency teams finished their work, Rain returned to her corner of the chamber, once again the silent, unremarkable recruit. But Knox had seen the truth now, and the question that haunted him wasn't what she was. The question was who had sent her, and why they needed someone with her particular skills embedded in a military academy. That night, he tried accessing her file again, but this time he couldn't even find her records. It was as if Cadet Rain had never existed at all. The next morning, she was back in formation with the others, perfectly ordinary except for the way she moved. Knox caught her eye during inspection, and she gave him the faintest of smiles. "Some secrets," she said so quietly only he could hear, "are classified for everyone's protection.